See, we have to do things that's admirable and above scandal. And police nowadays, there's so many people out there that hate the police. And again, it's just a few. Most of them do their job and do it very well. It wasn't that all of them acted bad. It just took a few. So what do we see that's admirable? The mother saw the blessings of the team of doctors and nurses that were honorable and working tirelessly on her daughter Rebecca's care. Their work was admirable. They didn't give up. And Rebecca's mother noticed this. What is excellent? The best. Not second rate, not inferior. You know the old saying, you get what you pay for. And there's a lot of truth in that. And sometimes if you pay just a little bit more, the value is much more than the extra expense that you added in. I remember when I was growing up, one of my favorite meals for birthday was shrimp. And one year, Mom found some cheap shrimp. And we realized, don't ever do that again. She was just trying to save some money, but it wasn't really shrimp. It was just a bunch of stuff ground up and made to look in the shape of shrimp. And we all were like, yeah. Just a little bit extra to get the quality stuff. A year ago, on the cover of the New York Herald Tribune Sunday magazine, there was a picture of the Statue of Liberty taken from the head down. A part of the Statue of Liberty that many people have never seen. But the picture showed the details of the statue's hairdo that the artist had taken time to do, and you could see individual strands of hair, and a part that many people would never see. And you got to realize that when the Statue of Liberty was dedicated, it was 1886. Flight had not even taken place by the Wright brothers at this point in time. The sculptor really couldn't have dreamt who would ever see the top of her head. But he did it right. He took the time and he took the care and he devoted the same amount into her hair that most people would never see that he did to her face and her arms and the torch and everything else. He knew this. He was making this work of art and it was going to be excellent in all parts. That was his standard. It wasn't going to be, we'll let people see what the good stuff is and we'll not worry about what people won't see. You never know when a helicopter or some other instrument that may not have even been invented at this time is going to come and find out things. You see, when we only do the best, it's always done right, it's done excellent, then we don't have to worry about the flaws. And the mother began to see excellence unfolding and what was taking place in this miracle of her daughter. She recognized that the work of the medical team was admirable, but also that they strived for excellence in Rebecca's treatment. They weren't just treating what was going wrong, but they were treating her, trying to see improvement and see healing. For them, nothing less than excellence was going to work because that's what this girl needed. And what is praiseworthy? Here Paul was imprisoned, probably never going to be set free, probably going to be put to death, and yet he was praiseworthy. When he was in the prison and he could have escaped, he did what was praiseworthy and he stayed right there. He may not have agreed that he was the reason he was in prison because he'd done the work of God. But even when the gates flew open, he stayed there. Because just as the mother knew, the blessings of worshiping the Lord is worthy to be praised. This mother had stopped dwelling on the sickness that her daughter had and having the negative thoughts. And even when the phrase hemorrhagic stroke come out and her daughter could have a stroke and it could have killed her and it could have drained the joy of life out of this mother. It could have brought an anxiety on her that could have defeated and knocked down this mother. She began to dwell into wonderful things and the blessings happening in her life at that very moment and happening with her daughter. The peace of God had come down upon her, and it transcended all the problems that she could have been dwelling upon. And now, because she was focusing on the good and focusing on God, God was guarding her heart. She was now experiencing a true miracle of God. The thundercloud that had hovered over her life with the sickness and illness of her daughter for 13 years, ever since she'd been born, it was beginning to be lifted because she practiced the thought management that Paul was telling the people to do. It's not natural. It doesn't happen unless we focus and we intently begin to do this. We can choose for only good things to happen in our life, and everybody wants that. We want the good things, but bad things will come our way too. But we can guard our thoughts so that we're focused on whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right and pure and lovely and admirable, what is excellent and what is praiseworthy. Proverbs 4:23 in the Contemporary English Version of the Bible says, "Carefully guard your thoughts, because they are the source of true life." If you want happiness in your life, if you want joy in your life, it's all based on the seeds that you plant today and how you focus your thoughts. What your heart is focused on will guide the way your mind is working. We can choose what we think about or how we think about things. After I wrote this, I began to think, how can I do this? I got some bad news Friday about my vehicle. I got to get it inspected, and it didn't pass. And I was like, oh, man. What? And it's like, okay, God, you got to help me with this. How can I turn this around and be focused? And all it took was just watching Garrett in the swing yesterday. I'm like, oh, this is it, God. Focus on some good things. We'll get the rest taken care of. You see, how we live our life and what we're focused on and how we're thinking affects those around us. And even little babies can pick up on our anxiety. When we're frustrated and struggled, and I can see that in Garrett, he can realize that too. And then it's transferred over to someone else, even a child. As for this mother, she made her decision to dwell on the positives and to look, and even if it was just a small thing of her daughter sleeping in her own bed or seeing her family eat around the dinner table. And her decisions